listening to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast about one of the most legendary bands of all time, Deep Purple. We take a look at the music, history, and people behind the band Deep Purple and beyond. Welcome to the Deep Purple Podcast, the first and only podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 238, Trapeze, Hot Wire. And coming to you from the suburbs of Chicago, where it's breakfast with the Purples, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Providence, I'm your co-host, John Hot Wire Hangover Matola.
Oh no, do you have a hangover?
You know, I don't get hangovers much anymore.
Well,
maybe because,
good for you.
Maybe because I don't drink. Maybe because I don't drink a lot.
I actually, get hangovers when I don't drink. So
anybody that knows me knows that that's a lie. I do drink, but I was out last night, and yeah, things just kind of went off the rails. Started off with a couple of glasses of wine, and then wound up with some booze, and then me waking up face down, being like, So yeah, it takes me a little while to like peel myself out of bed, but once I'm good to go. But I hope that maybe after today's episode, I'll have a hot wire hangover.
Let's hope so. Maybe this guy's a live wire over here. We'll turn him into a hot wire. Yeah, we're doing a early morning recording. So you should have behaved last night if you knew we were doing an early morning recording.
Actually, I kind of forgot until you texted me.
I was like, I'll be on a little early, and you're like, oh shit, we're recording this morning.
I'm like, oh god damn it, we're doing that. Well, I usually know by the calendar invites, and I don't know that I saw one in there until this morning. Which I'm not saying you sent it this morning, but you know, sometimes it doesn't show up until
yeah.
But yeah, yesterday was let me see, special somebody's birthday, and
it was Nick Simper. Happy.
Yeah, I wonder what he did.
I don't know.
I wonder what he did on his. Oh wait, it was also your birthday.
It was also my birthday. I do share a birthday with Nick Simper. We yeah. I always thought, like, if I ever met him, that would be just like the super lamest thing to say. Hey, we have the same birthday. I just remember when I was in first grade, my friend Bupon had the same birthday as me. So and my teacher made this tree with all these leaves with all the birthdays on it, and we were the only two that shared a leaf. And like my friend Dave, he still brings that up like anytime. Like he'll never forget my birthday. He's like, you Bupon, you are the only two that just share a leaf.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, what did you do on the momentous occasion of you and Nick Simper's birthday yesterday?
I'd like to say I had big plans, but yeah, my plan was pretty much to, like, I was going to put up like a little gate down here for the dog, and I was going to just clean up a little bit around the house. It was kind of lame. And I was like, you know what? I've been working so much lately. I haven't had like 2 days off in a row for a long time. So I was like, I'm just going to like Jen's asking me all week, what do you want to do for your what do you? And I was like, I want you to stop asking me. Like, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to do anything. So I was like, you know what? Let's just get some takeout and watch a movie. And yeah, we did that. But my daughter ended up getting sick and coming home from school almost immediately. So I went and picked her up, took her to urgent care. And she was she was feeling pretty lousy all day. So we just kind of lied down on the couch and watched whatever she wanted to watch, and made her lunch and all that sort of stuff, which is actually, like, to me, that's like a nice, perfect, relaxing day. Took the dog on several walks, and yeah, was pretty much it. Pretty low key.
Yeah, it's almost makes me feel bad that I'm getting all the Deep Purple birthdays, and I'm getting the exciting Deep Purple birthdays, and you're not.
Yeah, on your birthday, it's a lot. Yeah, my birthday's pretty low key. Your birthday has been pretty high key.
Well, only the past couple of years. I've had some
Glenn Hughes is once again playing on your birthday. We haven't decided if you're going to come. So you'd get to have two birthdays in a row with Roger Glover, one with Glenn Hughes, and then we'd have to somehow figure out a way you could spend it with Nick Simper next year.
Yeah. So Nikki, if
Or
you're
maybe me and
listening,
Nick could have one of those joint birthday parties. I can make a leaf with me and Nick Simper's name on it.
oh, that would be great. Yeah. See, now it'll be like Nate and Nikki sharing a leaf
exactly.
with
Nate and
Bupon.
Nikki's birthday bash. We could go rent out a Chuck E. Cheese or something.
Oh, well, yeah, Nikki, if you're listening, ball's in your court.
Yeah, come on, yeah, let's make this happen. But hey, since we're on the subject, there is something we're gonna do a little earlier than we normally do, and that is postcards from the edge of Connecticut. And the reason I bring this up early, is because I got this postcard in the mail yesterday on my birthday.
Nice.
That right there, and it says, oh boy, Zum Geburtstag die besten Wunsch. My German is amazing. Sorry, Ralph.
It's not so good.
My German is not so good. It says, and that means, hey, does anybody out there like having sex? No. That would be a great postcard, though. But this one is from, of course, the Gardeau. It says, Nate, now here's a birthday wish for you. Auf Deutsch, darling. Happy birthday. Translation, best wishes for your birthday.
Nice.
And it's funny. It's dated on my birthday, and it's postmarked on October 30th, but it arrived on my birthday. So it's the only birthday card or postcard or anything I got in the mail on my actual birthday. So thank you very much.
That was good timing.
Yeah. And I love how he still abbreviates the state with like the old style abbreviations. ILL for Illinois instead of IL.
And it still gets there.
S for Mass. And this one came in actually a little while ago. We're late recording this week, but this one is of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in front of a group of people, and it says, the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. delivering a sermon in the amphitheater, October 1963, at Mount Holyoke College. It says, Nate, now here's a greeting from Mount Holyoke College for you, Pete, and it's signed by Polly, sister number 2, and Eva. I'm sorry, sister number 3 and Eva number 2. So sister number 1 was not available. Yeah, nice. The great one of the great Americans, Dr. Martin Luther King, there at Holyoke College, which is not in Holyoke, but when I was in 4th grade, put those in the postcard box. When I was in the 4th grade, my teacher was like, "Hey, we're gonna have pen pals. We're gonna have pen pals." I was like, "Okay, great." And I told my parents, "We're gonna have pen pals," and I was like, I didn't know what a pen pal was. I learned what a pen pal was, and we would exchange letters. And mine came in. Her name was Christine, and she lived in Holyoke, Massachusetts. Which, when they told me, I thought they were saying Polio, Massachusetts, and I was like, that's a weird thing to name a city after.
Massachusetts,
named after a horrible disease. So it came in. I remember my dad being like, Holyoke, Massachusetts, like, wow, they couldn't find anyone further away to be pen pals with. He's like, they could just drop the postcards off because it's like maybe an hour from where we lived. And at the time, I didn't think it might as well have been from from Rome for all I knew, like Holyoke. Yeah, but I remember, Christine. So Christine, if you're out there, if you're a Deep Purple fan by chance, let's reconnect. I don't remember anything that we like wrote or said to each other, but I remember we would exchange all year. We exchanged letters, and they would come to the school, and then we would. That was my pen pal. So.
Yeah, it was funny because when you're talking about that, I remember that E-Rock used to live like in this area. Like he actually lived down the street from where I live now.
Right.
And that's literally 20 minutes from my parents' house. And back when we were summer vacation, like 12, 13, 14, whatever, definitely before we could drive, we had to be pen pals because we couldn't call each other because it was a long distance call.
Oh, that's right. That was I remember it was so annoying. I would call him and it would be, I lived even closer to him then than you do now. Oh, than you did then. You live
because your parents' house is 10 minutes away from here. And like I said, his house was like down the street. Like I could walk from here to where he lived. And and it's just like it was so ridiculous. Everything was long distance back then, and like we couldn't do like we got in trouble a couple of times for collect calling each other. Um, so it's like, yeah, an hour away being pen pals. Try 20 minutes away having to be pen pals because
Having to
we
write
couldn't
letters
drive.
to each other. Yeah,
We
it was
couldn't
the most
drive. We couldn't
ridiculous thing.
call.
Like having to
Stupid.
call him and be like, you had to, it was a long distance call to call him, and he lived, 10 minutes from me. It's so
Yeah.
ridiculous. But it was technically a different town or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, talk about a pen pal an hour away, like a pen pal like 20 minutes away. It's even more ridiculous.
Well, me and Paul used to do the thing where you would, of course, we lived in the same city, so it was probably easier, but you would address the envelope, but don't put the stamp on it, but you'd address it to you'd put the return address as the person you wanted it to go to, and then your address in the thing. You wouldn't put the stamp on it, you put it in the mail, and then they would return to sender with no postage, and then they would get the letter. So we did that for no reason, because it wasn't even a collect call or a long distance call for us, but we would just do that just to stick it to the man. We
yeah,
probably did it like
way to
twice,
bilk the post office out of 25 cents.
or whatever it was then. Aha, postman.
Yeah, take that, U.S. government.
Oh man, I hope there's a statute of limitations on that, because I don't want anyone coming after me after I just admitted to that heinous crime.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think 30 years they're gonna come after you. You're gonna get a bill in the mail from the IRS.
Yeah,
Like
compounded interest. You owe us $1,732.
Actually, with compounded interest, it would be funny if they're like, "You owe us $37." Oh yeah, hang on. I think I have that in between the cushions of my couch.
Oh boy. Well, hey folks, if you want to support our show, you can do so a number of ways. One is by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. You can buy some merch at our Etsy store, or become a patron on Patreon or on PayPal. For as little as $1 a month, you can help support the show. We put all that money into the show to buy albums, which the album we're reviewing today was purchased with Patreon money. So thank you. It was actually purchased twice, because I realized I thought I had the CD and I couldn't find it, and I was like, oh, I have to just buy. I just had to buy the MP3 CD off of Amazon, but I also have the vinyl copy behind me. It was like I was like, it's worth $9.99 to me to not rip the vinyl onto the computer and all that. It's just a pain in the butt. So you can also donate $DPPOD using Cash App, and you can support us on Ko-fi. Buy us a Ko-fi. Coffee. So yeah, thank you very much to everybody who supports the show. Speaking of people who support the show, I'd like to thank our first level of patrons, which is the executive level, starting with the in memoriam tier, which is the late wonderful Gerald Jerry Kelly and family. The $25 uncommon man tier, we have Ovis Nakvi and Purple Maniac. At the 15 squid tier, we have Alan. At the $10 Good Doctor tier, we have, of course, the wonderful Mike Catan, Dr. Mike Catan. Somebody get me some doctors. He didn't spend 7 years in Mike school to be called Mr. Mike Catan. At the Turn It Up to $11 tier, we have Clay Wambacher, Frank Thielgard Mortensen, Mickelstein, Will Porter, PhD PP. And at the $10 Someone Came tier, Ryan M., Jeff Bryce, Victor Campos, Better Call Saul Evans, and Peter from Illinois. And at the Hughes by 2033 tier, we have Fielding Fowler.
Hughes by 2033.
I swear every time the blur gets later.
Well, you didn't make the you didn't make any musical changes based on my my idea.
No, I'm going to.
Okay.
Eventually. It's one of the other things I was going to work. I had all these plans of what I was going to do yesterday in the studio.
Yeah.
I don't think I even walked downstairs yesterday.
So, oh, well.
Yeah, we'll see. One of these days. Did get an interesting listener email. This is a nice, and this is from, oh shoot, where is it? So he wrote in, his name is John, and I'm going to butcher his last name. I apologize. John. Oh no, was it an email? No, he might have contacted me through Facebook Messenger.
Hmm.
John Poholovich. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Let me just switch over to my Facebook Messenger thing. So he wrote in and he said, "Hi, just wanted to show you my self-made two-sided identical DP album collage shirt. I have no intention of reproducing and selling it due to copyrighted images. JLT liked the shirt. Keep on delivering the goods with the shows. I only discovered the show a few months ago. Wish I knew about it earlier." So he's we've had a little bit of a back and forth on Facebook, but check out the shirt that he made. Share it with you. I would definitely buy a copy if he was sharing. Look at that thing.
Oh, wow.
So it's got Deep Purple in Rock, Pride of Place in the center. It's a Fireball above it. Stormbringer to the left there, Machine Head. It's pretty awesome.
Like how Come Taste the Band is Coverdale is right on the crotch. It's perfect.
It is perfect.
No, it's that's very cool. I've seen shirts that are like a similar style to that, and they're very they're very cool. They make a statement, especially if you're going to a Deep Purple show or event or something like that.
Yep. It's like almost like cosplay, right? Like people make their own custom made shirts. It's pretty cool. So thanks for sending that over, John. I would definitely for some reason in my mind it's like a button-up shirt. I think it's because of all the lines of the album covers, but yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's like fully, I don't even know how the heck you would make it, because it's like every single inch of the shirt, there's not anything that's not covered with Deep Purple album covers. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on the front, and presumably 11 on the back. Pretty cool. All right. So here we are today to talk to you about the album Hotwire. And this one's interesting because it's the first Trapeze album that comes to you after Glenn Hughes left the band and went to Deep Purple, released in 1974, same year that Burn came out. So, John, have you ever heard this album?
I don't think so. I think I mean, I knew that there was a post Hughes album, but I only heard the Hughes album, so I never really, I never really discovered it or went into trying to find it. So
I think we probably talked about it in an episode at some point. And I remember we talked about the other album that had the two covers. Like the American cover was like a Volkswagen, and then the German cover was like a naked woman with her boobs out running around.
Yeah.
It's called, and they even changed the name of the album. I think it was called Running in German, and then it was called something else. I can't remember the name of the American release. But I think we talked about that change. But I just remembered on my desk here, I've got remember you were asking me about the penny whistle?
I
See?
I don't hear it.
Oh, you don't hear it?
No, I don't hear it. I just saw you go.
It's like this. See, you didn't miss much, but here you go.
All right, that was worth it.
It's better to do.
Is that what you were trying to do?
No.
Okay. Because I'm like, you were really way off.
Yeah, I was way off. Yeah. I was not trying to do anything, since I clearly cannot play the penny whistle. You know, if you ever watch Star Trek, there's Captain Picard plays like a penny whistle in some episodes, and I never knew this until years later, but they in every scene he's doing that, it's basically him with the penny whistle, and then some other person's hands come over to do because he didn't know how to play the penny whistle. So it's like it's Patrick Stewart. he's blowing into the penny whistle, and then some other guy's hands are doing this. And once you know that that's what they're doing, those scenes are so hilarious because he's going and the hands aren't quite moving in the same way. You know, it's just you could probably
Ridiculous.
find it on YouTube. It's hilarious. One of my favorite parts of that show. All right, so yeah, there's not like a ton. I looked around, man. If anybody's got any like history of trapeze or anything, there's precious little about what happens after Hughes leaves that I can find like history wise. So we're just going to kind of get right into the album. We'll talk a little bit about the band. One is replacing Glenn on bass is Peter Wright. He moved to America after Trapeze, and he married an American and got a bartending job in San Antonio. And there is a picture I'll put in the show notes of him. He went to a Dead Daisies show and met up with Glenn Hughes, and they took a picture together, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
One interesting thing about him, he was in this terrible plane crash, Delta Airlines flight 1141. August 31st, 1988, and he was one of 76 survivors of the crash. So
Wow.
I heard there was something about it posted on like an old message board post from years and years ago. So I looked up the crash, and if you go to his Facebook page, there's actually a picture of him meeting up with some of the other survivors and stuff like that. It's really interesting, terrifying to read about, but I forget how many people died in the crash, like 20 something people, but pretty crazy stuff. But it happened. He ended up living in Texas for most of his life, I think, and because Trapeze was huge there, it's probably why he made a home there. So then we've got Dave Holland on drums and Mel Galley on guitar and vocals. And then you've got Rob Kendrick as an additional guitar player. He went on to work with Nightwing, Cloven Hoof, and Budgie. The only thing I know about Budgie is that like Dave Mustaine was a big fan. Do you know anything by Budgie? I know they have the song "Bread Fan." That's it.
Yeah, Metallica covered their songs in the early days. That's what I know about Budgie.
Yeah,
Like
I'm a
one of
Bread
those
fan too, so I can relate.
Like
I love bread.
Oh yes, I'm a fan of bread.
The substance, not the band. Nothing against the band, but the band's fine.
But no, it's there are some of those bands that are like the quote unquote influential bands, and those early bands were really in them, but they never seemed to get any notoriety except for like, oh yeah, when that better known band covered their songs.
Yeah, I just remember like Dave Mustaine in an interview. He's like, "Oh yeah, I like bands like Budgie." I'm like, "Who the hell's Budgie?" And I won't listen to them, and it's like it's pretty rocky. It's like, he's like, it reminded me of a more straightforward Rush, not as technically crazy with the drums and everything. But so on production, we have Neil Slavin, who's a British author and producer. He worked with Decca in the UK in the '60s. He's apparently he's written a ton of liner notes for albums, mostly in the genre of ragtime and blues. So there you go. I don't know if it's pronounced Davis or Davies, because I know sometimes it gets pronounced Davis. But he's son of Ray Davis or Davies, the trumpeter and band leader, not the isn't that the guy from the Kinks, Ray Davis?
I don't know.
Something Davis. He worked with Brian Ferry, Roxy Music, Dire Straits, and the B-52s. Worked for Island Music. On an engineer, Steve Nye, the engineer guy. He was a producer and pianist. He also worked with Brian Ferry and Rocky Music. He also worked with Joe Cocker and Frank Zappa on the mixing of the album Joe's Garage. That one's for the Gardeau. Mike Sellers was an engineer, and if the name sounds familiar, he's the son of Peter Sellers. He worked at Air Studios, the studio that George Martin founded. So we get a little Hollywood royalty there, Mike Sellers. I was like, I'm going to do a Pete Sellers impression. I was like, I don't even know what Peter Sellers sounds like.
Well, yeah, I mean, he sounds like a British guy.
So cool, blimey. There you go.
Well, no, well, maybe not. No, not like a low class British.
Not as Cockney.
Yeah.
Cool, blimey. Is that more proper?
Yeah, maybe more proper. I don't know. I've only seen him like growing up. I would only see Peter Sellers in the Pink Panther movies.
Yes, in the Pink Panther movies, and wasn't he in?
And he played a French detective, so he did an accent for all the films. So he never really spoke in his real voice. So.
That's right. Oh yes, oui. I'm Peter Sellers.
All right, yeah.
That's my Peter Sellers. Wasn't he in the Woody Allen movie? Like, didn't he do like that James Bond parody, like Casino Royale?
I think so. It's
Peter
been
Sellers
a while,
was in that
but
with him.
Yeah, some of those, a lot of those kind of like late '60s kind of mod party kind of movies or whatever. I never really liked them that much.
It was, yeah. I remember when I was on like when we were probably hanging out when I was on like my big Woody Allen kick, and I watched like every Woody Allen movie that was released to date. So I
Mm,
watched that movie, and it was probably not the well. I don't think it was even technically a Woody Allen movie. I think he was just in it. He
yeah.
played like a weird. I don't know. He played a weird guy. I was gonna say, but he always plays a weird guy. Jeez.
Another weird guy. Oh,
Yeah.
geez. Well, I think it was because of what maybe it was because of you, but I a lot of consumed a lot of Woody Allen movies too, and actually I haven't seen them in a while, but I just
No.
remember they were really. You have to have a certain sense of humor for them, which we obviously did and do.
Yeah.
Like, but
Unfortunately, he's become a little complicated.
mm,
But yes, I haven't watched a Woody Allen movie in a really long time. But
yeah.
anyway, also we've got Dave Hutchins as an engineer. He worked with Genesis on The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. He also worked with our friend Martin Ford on the Smoothin' album, who actually Martin emailed me just a few days ago, and he said that he went to go see Glenn Hughes
Oh,
and when he
cool.
was in the UK. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Um, so I emailed him back, but I haven't heard back yet. But he was just kind of giving me his review of the show and just how awesome he thought Glenn was, and
Mm.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Glad he's still getting out there and checking out shows. Um, I just included this because it sounds ridiculous, but Dave Hutchins also worked with a group called the Fred Banana Combo, which is just too good to pass up. And then the other engineer is Don Stewart. This is his only credit on Discogs, so he must not have done anything
Mm.
else with that. So with that, we're on to the album art. John, it's not Sunday, but there is a Sunday on this album cover. Tell me what you think of this album cover.
And now I have seen the album cover before, and it makes me think of a '50s diner, which
Yep.
I don't know if that's what they were going for, but I mean they must have been. But yeah, you just get that '50s diner type thing, but upon closer inspection, you have some little things in there. I like the way it's very interesting because it's like okay, hot fudge sundae on a trapeze album because before you had like this bizarre art for Medusa and then
Mm-hmm.
a live shot for You Are the Music,
Yeah, there's
and then you have
absolutely
this.
yeah that like Victorian painting on the front. There's absolutely no consistency in the album covers. They're all over the place, which is cool.
Yeah, yeah, but this one's kind of neat because in the Sunday it kind of incorporates that electricity theme in there because the cherry is a little like a little light bulb up there.
Yeah, you see the little coil running through it, right?
Yeah. And then hot wire is wired up. You have the little Frankenstein bolts on either side of the bottom of the dish
Yeah.
there
Yep.
with hot wire spelled out in that what is it, that neon diner, whatever it is,
Yep.
glass thing, and then the I for wire is a little electrical bolt. So
Yeah,
it's
it's frayed, so there's like electricity shooting out of it.
yeah, so it's kind of neat. I'm not sure what that has to do with a hot fudge sundae or banana split or whatever the hell this thing is, but it's and then of course the two straws are blowing out some smoke, probably
Yep.
a little whatever you call it, exhaust or
Yeah, or
whatever from
steam, or
the
they're just like it's like they're getting heated up by the Frankenstein bolts, as you put it.
yeah. It's pretty it's a pretty cool cover. I feel like it's kind of dated to the time. It feels like a very mid '70s album cover trying to call back to the '50s.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it has to do with the green,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of green color.
The Doctor Feelgood green.
Yeah.
It's like that
Oh,
exact same tone.
well, I was thinking more when you see green around this period of time, it's like that was the color that a lot of kitchens and kitchen appliances were, which dated to the '70s and early '80s. So
Yeah, your
that's
fridge was either this color, the avocado, or it was goldenrod. We had the goldenrod fridge.
yeah. I want to yeah I want to say we had that too. You know what? I can't remember.
Yeah, we had that ugly yellow fridge. This was the color of our carpet in our living room. In my parents' living room was like this, maybe a little darker, but
Yeah.
pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it was just a cool concept that they might have come up with, or I don't know how it would tie into the album or the band, but yeah, pretty creative. I mean, it's I guess more creative than if they just put a band photo on the front.
Yeah, yeah, and then you've got the
So,
building blocks in the background making
mhm.
like a pyramid, and it spells out trapeze, and it looks like it's like what is that, like needlepoint or something? That's how they like the letters look. Like it reminds me of what the intro to Mama's Family. Wasn't there like a needlepoint sort of thing?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which
Well, you
makes
know
me
what? It made me think of that video game, like the Z, the little diagonal part of the Z makes me think of those things in like Snafu.
oh yeah,
You remember Snafu from Intellivision?
yeah, yeah. I got my television right over there. Sadly, it does not work anymore. Piece of junk.
Yeah, I know
Stopped working
those
after almost 50 years.
cutting cutting edge sound effects such as
I just remember the the freaking. Did you have poker for the Intellivision?
yeah. Yeah,
The
that was the one game I think it came with it, but being a kid, you're
Yeah,
like, okay, what the hell am I going to do with this?
my dad would use it and would play the poker, and the dealer scared the living shit out of me. Like just seeing that dealer.
Yeah.
And when he would get like if you lost, he would get mad. I don't know why he'd get mad at you, but he'd get mad and his eyebrows would go, "Rrr," and I was like, ah, it's terrifying as a kid.
Oh.
I don't know why. But yeah, that's a it's an interesting album cover. Definitely jumps out at you. Nice bright colors. Um, then we've got the back cover. Got a picture of all the band members. I got the new guys there, and yeah, just all the credits. This album cover was design was done by Seabrook Graves and Aslett Associates. Um, for the art direction, it was a company in England. They worked with Peter, Paul, and Mary, the Everly Brothers, Faces, Billy Ocean, and many more. The illustration is credited to Wurlitzer, and there's no other credits by that
Hmm.
I don't know person, group, robot, piano. I don't know what it is on Discogs. Just says Wurlitzer, so it doesn't really explain anything. And then the photography was by Roy Cuthbert, who only had a few other credits as well. So
Who's that? Who's that guy over on the left? It looks like it looks like his school picture.
that must be, and I'm it does. um,
Like
that mu-
all the rest of them look like band pictures, but this one on the left, it looks he looks like he's like 18. It's his
because
school
yeah, it
picture.
looks like it has that like kind of like fake tree background that you'd get at like Olin Mills.
Yeah.
You know, the fake trees. I remember I had one was like there was like a library behind me. It was just like an airbrushed library. That must be Rob Kendrick, I think, because I'm pretty sure the guy on the top right is Peter Wright, but I
Mhm.
could be mistaken. All right, close that out, and then yeah, that's pretty much all we got leading up to this album. Again, if anyone's got any inside scoop on this era or this stuff, let us know because I struggled to find really anything that was super relevant. So right now we're going to get into our core level patrons, and then we're going to get right into the music of this album. So our core level patrons, starting off with none other than the $7.77 Keep It Warm Rat tier. We have Michael Vader. At the $6.99 new nice price tier, we have Spike the Rock Cat and Sugar Tea. At the episode $6.66 tier, we have Steve Coldwell and Arthur Smith.
Getting support from the patron Arthur Smith.
Anton Glaving and Charles Meadows. At the $6.65 almost evil tier, we have Kenny Wymore, Michael Bagford, and Richie Sucksmith. At the $5.99 the nice price tier, Robert Smith, Peter from Illinois, and Carl Helberg. And at the 60 kroner Scandinavian Nights tier, we have none other than Newt Morton Johansson.
It's a great life if you know we can.
At the $5.55 What's Going On Here tier, we have Richard Fusey. And at the $5 Moneylender tier, John Convery, German Heindel, Adrian Hernandez, Jesper Alman, Alexi, The Perfect Stranger Slepikoff, Kev Roberts, Percival Frequency, Scott Zern, Cynthia Doobie, Raf Calf, and Coyote Bongwater. Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. All right, so before we get into it, just very quickly, all these tracks are written by Mel Galley and his brother Tom, except for Steal a Mile, which was co-written by Dave Holland. So there we go. I won't show my hands, but I've actually listened to this album quite a few times, so I'm excited to get into it with you.
Oh, okay.
This one starts off with, I think I have the volume a little high. Let's see here. All right, this one starts off with the track Backstreet Love.
It definitely sounds like a trapeze riff.
For sure. Has a very easy top sort of sound of the riff anyway.
Oh boy. All right, they basically got a Glenn Hughes impersonator, it sounds like.
That's Mel Galley. Which is
I mean,
great.
he said what? Well, yeah, I mean, he's obviously making an effort to make it sound like the trapeze sound, which is good.
Yeah. Because I think we've
Because
talked
if
about like some of the other trapeze songs. Sometimes I can't tell when it's Glenn or not.
Well, yeah, because if you told me this was Hughes on vocals, I would say, yeah, it is.
So pretty rockin'.
It's got a big fat bass sound.
Yep.
I feel like these guys, just from hearing like a minute of this, that they knew what the trapeze sound was and they were not trying to diverge from it.
Yeah, like it's funny because they, in the first lineup change in trapeze, they went so far, like the sound changed so much from the first album to the second album, and then this one they're like, well, we've got a fan base, we know what they're expecting, so let's
it's once they found their sound, they decided to stick with it.
The bass is really nice on this. So that first solo was by the new guitarist, and this is Mel right now. It's weird though, it seems like here it only credits Mel Galley as backing vocals, which is weird. Let's see if the album cover is a little different. Mel Galley lead vocals on the thing. For some reason with Discogs, it's just his backing vocals. On the album back it says thanks to roadies Andy Field and Dave Whitehouse for keeping the pot hot. I don't know what that means.
You were saying it had a what, like a ZZ Top kind of sound?
I'm hearing My Woman from Tokyo.
I was thinking like Foghat,
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah,
like bands like that.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely of its time for sure.
What was that? Yeah, was it that who was the were they the band that did what was the name of the song? I just want to make love to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was Foghat.
That was
Yeah.
Foghat? Okay, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, it kind of had that sound to it. So I think a mid to late 70s rock band
Yeah,
sound
I was thinking
in
more
that
slow
mold.
ride, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the guitar, the bam, 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 when he
Yeah.
bent it up like that. It sounded very from that song,
Hey,
like very kind of familiar. But I'm sure a lot of bands around that time had the same, playing similar gear and guitars and stuff and production styles and whatever. But yeah, it sounded good.
and Slow Ride came out the year after this, so maybe Fograt, Foghat stole their sound from Trapeze.
Fog Rat, the Foghat tribute band.
It's made up of rats. It's like people dressed up as rats.
Or Fog Rat.
Maybe we
So
can get them to play at Chuck E. Cheese when we do our joint birthday party.
oh, you and Nikki.
Me and Nikki, yeah. I sell the idea on them. Okay, so what do you think of Backstreet Love?
Well, it could be kind of dangerous, darling.
He's stalling as he opens the spreadsheet.
You know me so well.
Yeah, it's like the meet of the patrons.
Yeah, let me see. Yes, so I'll give this one a 3.5. I thought it was pretty good. I like how they seemingly were staying with the trapeze formula, which was that kind of riff. I mean, of course, it was the same guitar player, so of course it's going to sound like a Mel Galley riff, right?
Galley joint.
A Mel Galley joint. Yeah, it's going to sound like him, but they kept like a big kind of booming bass sound. The vocals were very Hughes-esque, so it was kind of like
Yeah,
if
right
you're
off the bat, he's like, like he's doing
exactly.
all like the little things, throwing him in there.
Yeah, and I mean whether that was his style or not, or whether he was purposely trying to emulate Hughes a little bit, I feel like there was a conscious effort, at least with this song. We'll see how the rest of the album sounds.
Sure.
That they were going, okay, this is our formula. Like you said before, we have a built-in audience. We have an audience already. Let's stick with this type of thing. So even though we have new members, it's not going to be this jarring new sound, kind of like first album to second album type of thing.
Right.
The only thing I didn't like about it was it was kind of slower to mid-tempo for an opening track.
Yeah.
Something a little more upbeat or up tempo, like they did for like on the other two albums, like Medusa or You Are the Music, would have been good. And the production seemed a little faint on this one. Like the production on the other two albums seemed much more crisp and upfront, and this one seems a little more reverby. The drums kind of seemed a little in the background a little bit. So the production seemed a little lacking, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word. Maybe for the drums, because I liked how the bass was really kind of full and out front. But it didn't seem to be as maybe mixed or produced as well as, say, Medusa would probably be. I mean, aside from the songs and the performances being fantastic, I just think that the production on that album is so so dry and separated and crisp, and that's what I would have liked to have heard. But this one seems a little kind of muddled.
I wonder if this just hasn't had the benefit of having any remixing or remastering, or at least not as much as the others, because they got all the attention from the Glenn Hughes thing. So these later Trapeze albums might have been a little more ignored in that regard. But I agree. I give it 3.5 as well. I like this track. Yeah, I think you said it all, my friend. Which brings us to the next track on the album, which is called Take It On Down the Road. So, here we go. So this song has backing vocals by Kenny Cole, and Misty Browning.
Sounds like Lick It Up. Oh, there's
John
another
Ogden
one.
on congas. He did some percussion work with them on the previous album. Terry Rowley from the original lineup plays organ on this as well. So another kind of mid-tempo-y rocker.
Yeah, it has the same kind of tempo as the first song.
And there's a sax section coming up. Weird kind of like wah-wah, sort of a wah pedal.
That's very cool.
Sounds like you had the wah pedal on earlier and they weren't supposed to include that in the mix, but they were like, screw it, we'll just put it in. As he's warming up. That solo is Mel. The sax player coming up is someone we've probably heard more than anybody else on this album cumulatively in our lives. So.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's fading out almost, but it's not.
Yeah, that's some cool bass stuff going on.
Yeah, the sax is here. Kind of cool, subtle, and it's just this one guy playing all the different parts. goes. So the sax player is Chris Mercer. He played with John Mayall. You might remember him from groups that we talked about many, many episodes ago. Winder K. Frog, Juicy Lucy, and Keith Hartley. So he was one of the sax players on Jesus Christ Superstar. So
Right. No, I remember.
How can you forget Winder K. Frog?
Hi ho. This is
Hi-ho.
Winder K. Frog here.
All right, take it on down the road. What do you think of that one?
I'll give this one another 3.5. I think these are pretty decent sounding songs. I like the bass. I like the fact that they brought in a bass player that at least was just not sitting there in the background and unremarkable. Like you had like Pete Ray was doing the boom 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 boom.
Yeah,
You know,
like doing all stuff like that. Yeah, it reminds me of Neil Murray in that respect. Just kind of, he's not just hanging out there playing the root notes. He's doing some nice, really tasty fills.
yeah, exactly. Like it would have been. It would have been easy to just grab just a bass player and be like, okay, don't do anything. Don't do anything remarkable.
Hey, here's your bass. Don't do anything.
But you
anything
know what
stupid.
I mean. It's here's your bass. Don't do anything stupid.
Don't screw this up.
Oh, okay, Mr. Galley, sir. But I like the fact that they that at least in the first couple of songs they're letting them shine, be part of the music rather than fade into the background and be like, well, we're the legacy members, so you just sit back here and play the root note.
Right.
But yeah, I thought that was there were some elements in there that made the song interesting, and they're pretty good. I still have maybe a little qualm with the tempo of the songs. I'm hoping for a little more up tempo rocker pretty soon. But yeah, other than that, pretty decent.
Yeah, I'll give this one a 3. I like it. I think the drums definitely do have that dry sound that you're used to with trapeze, but they just sound more distant. So they've got the sound is there. It's just they don't sound as full, even though they do have kind of the same overall timbre to them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next track up is a track called, this sounds like the ultimate 70s track, Midnight Flyer. Yeah.
It sounds like some classic trapeze there.
This is awesome. This has John Ogden on congas again and Terry Rowley doing the synthesizer.
All right.
So I wonder if this sounds like almost part of it could be on like Play It Out.
Yeah.
It's that Glenn Hughes style he's doing on his vocals combined with the effect that's on his vocals. It's so heavily affected on Play It Out. Play Me Out. Play It Out. Post Malone album. That guitar in the background is so good. It makes you wonder what the conversation was. Were they going for that? Were they intentionally trying to mimic Hughes? I mean, it sounds like they must be, right?
Or, I mean, this was really before Hughes was as funky as this, because he started off being somewhat like that, but was like Mel Galley more the guy that was the influence for that, like, you know what I mean?
Well, you know, it kind of makes me think of like our friend Dan, and you remember Ron Howard, right?
Yeah.
My friend Ron Howard, not the director.
Yeah.
They grew up playing music together. We were in bands together, the three of us, and when they sing, they would kind of bounce off of each other, and they would influence each other, and to the point where they would sing. They started singing alike, and sometimes you couldn't tell like who was singing what if you weren't watching or if you was
Right.
recording. So I wonder if it's just being together and growing up together like that, playing music. You just start you get in this feedback loop together, and you develop a similar style. So that could be part of it.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's easy with all the stuff that we know about Hughes and have heard from him over the years to say that this was mimicking him, but I'm more inclined to believe that it was what you kind of said with the way that your friends were growing up, is like these two guys probably played off each other and had similar styles. So this was actually his style.
And it happens with playing too. You start, you're in a band with another player, and you start learning from them their style and their licks, and you play them back to them.
Because I mean, listen to this. I mean, this is great.
Yeah, this is such a.
Like you said, it sounds like something that could have been on Hughes's later solo album, or similar to like Way Back to the Bone.
Yep.
Or could have been like Getting Tighter.
Way Back to the Bone always makes me laugh. I'm sorry.
Ha, Bone.
Mel Galley, what a shame. He passed away so young.
Hmm.
It sounds like female backing vocals there,
Yeah.
but there's none credited. Oh, it says on here, although it's not listed on Discogs, backing vocals: Pete, Rob, Mel, Kenny, and Misty. So maybe Misty's mixed up a little higher.
Maybe.
He did backing vocals with Freddie King, so no slouch. I like the little false ending, and then it goes right back into the groove. That's a sneaky little trick. I like it. Oh, you can
Wow.
really hear that snarling bass line at the end. You just feel those frets.
There was a little bit of that part in between the funky parts kind of reminded me of something from Aerosmith, but I'm not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the ba-da-da-na.
Oh, okay.
Definitely not the funky part, but
no.
although I mean you could argue that something like Walk This Way is akin to that, although this is totally different.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that other part, that more rock type of part, sounded like like an Aerosmith type of thing. So I'm hearing some things that are not necessarily a like a rip off of other bands, but just kind of other bands around that time. I think were kind of doing a lot of the same things. So I think it was yeah, it was good though.
Yeah, they sound very American. It doesn't sound like they don't sound like a British band at this point.
Mm.
And probably because they had so much success in America and spent so much time in America, probably playing with American bands. Anyway, what do you think of Midnight Flyer?
Well, this was a good one. I'm a little trouble rating it here.
Boy, you can see he's sweating already at this early hour.
Mm. Um, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4.
All right.
I was going to rate it a little bit lower, but I actually do think that this is a mid-tempo type of song that works well as a mid-tempo type of song. It's very in the trapeze mold, very funky, very cool, and done very well too. I mean, I know we were kind of talking over a lot of it, but I was listening, and the stuff that they were doing during the extended breakdown was very, very cool. Not I don't know if it was as energetic or as capture that lightning like when they had Hughes, but it was definitely really good and in that mold.
I am also going to give it a 4. It's too funky for me to give it any less. And I think when you're the things they were doing were so funky, like when they did that little stop and then they went right back into the groove. I mean, when it grooves like that, you can't really go at too much higher a tempo or else you lose that kind of feel of it. And it works really well with this stuff. I can see what you're saying on the other 2 tracks where they were a little more straightforward rock. So you could stand up the tempo a little bit, but with this one, it's just perfect. They're just in that pocket the whole time. And yeah, I love it. Great track. All right. The next track up is called Wake Up, Shake Up. That's what we did this morning. Sounds like Tommy Bolin.
I kind of see what they're going for here. He throws us this extended guitar riff intro, and then they have this kind of big entrance into the song. Very grandiose sounding.
Yep.
So they're trying to go for that kind of feel here. Like make it feel very big and blown up. I like it.
Scott just texted me, Scott Bejan, and asked me if the song that we used to play is available to stream anywhere. I was like, no.
What song?
I like that's Baby I'm Back. I was like, no, it's not on any streaming platforms. But I'm glad that's the first thing he's thinking of this morning. I'll have to send him an MP3. Let's see, this is Mel Galley solo. Now I like that it's got, on the album itself, it says who does which solos. Bring Megadeth. I like Megadeth tells you, like, breaks down who does each solo.
Well, I like that
Mustaine
too. So you're
isn't
not
going to let you
guessing.
think that he's not playing any solos. And I like that it's so free and filly, and you know, throwing in drum fills and throwing in bass fills everywhere. It's just doesn't make it too busy either. It's just really spices everything up. But basically pretty similar tempo though, right? It's kind of another mid-tempo one.
Yeah, this one feels maybe a slight bit faster, but
I haven't done any fade outs yet. We're done with the first side, but wake up, shake up. We've woken up. How do you shake this one up?
we've woken up and we've shoken up.
We woke up and shoke up.
Yeah, I said shoken. That's not a word.
Neither is shoke.
Either, well, yeah, but shoke sounds more, if you say it in a sentence, it sounds more like it could be a real word.
I have shoke. It's probably like an old English thing that went out of favor in the 14th century.
Woke up, shoke up. I said, well, I've shoken.
Yeah, didn't that wasn't one of Shakespeare's sonnets called "Woke Up, Shoke Up"?
I don't know. You being serious? I don't know.
I'm not.
I'm not a Shakespearean person. I lost it.
You can tell by the way you
that all just
by
fell.
the way you presented it. Well, I thought it was Judi Dench I was on this call with for a second. I am not a Shakespearean person. All right.
Anywho, I'll give that one a 3. I think it's starting to fall into filler territory. Right now, I think a lot of the songs are starting to sound similar. So unless they do something different, this might be the road we're going down.
Yep, I give it a 3 as well for those same reasons. And you know what? We're flipping it over to side 2 now, and the song is called "Turn It On." Let's turn it on and see. Are they going to get out of the mid-tempo territory? Are they going to do anything different? Let's check it out. This sounds like old school trapeze.
Yeah.
I love the stuff that second guitar is doing, and I don't know if that is Rob or Mel that's doing it, but that like great little treble, like sort of treble forward bass. I don't know what kind of bass he's playing, but nice little treble forward bass and treble punch, and then you've got the little very like muted, very very gently picked guitar matching it. Really nice effect.
I think it's another way back to the bone type of thing, how it starts at the beginning, the ba-da-dum, bum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum.
Get that little synthesizer buzzing in.
Nothing wrong with that.
Terry Rowley there. that was like a little tease. That was kind of the thing. I was like, hey, just letting you know I'm in this song, and I'll check in back with you later. I don't know. He's not credited as a solo on this one, so I don't know if he's gonna throw anything else in. I love how dynamically all over the place this song is. Like this is one of those ones I could just imagine them playing live and it sounded awesome.
Yeah.
Great. I realize with that drum head behind me, I look like the Scarabus album cover. Like all lit up. That's another one where those vocal effects make it sound very play me out. I mean, all these guys would be on play me out anyway, basically.
Yeah.
I wonder why. I mean, Trapeze would end up getting another singer after this, so I wonder why Mel Galley didn't do more singing in the original lineup. He's a great singer.
Well, maybe
Maybe he's more comfortable.
yeah, maybe he just live he just didn't want to handle so much of those duties. Or even on the album for that matter.
Yeah. Well, he certainly, I mean, steps in and fills some pretty big shoes very well, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What do you think of Turn It On?
Yeah.
What do you do? Are you reading the Sunday comics?
Yeah, no.
You're like chuckling.
No, because it's no, because
Garfield's
sometimes
great
when
today.
it's when I turned it when I close the sheet closes down, so I have to keep reopening
Yeah.
it. It'll like close down on me, so that's why it sometimes takes me a minute.
Do you do it on your phone?
Hmm?
You
Yeah.
do the sheet on your phone. Why don't you do it on your computer?
Because I'm watching us on the computer.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't know. Maybe I'll try and
Hey, you know what? You've been doing this for 238 episodes.
on my
I want
phone.
to throw a monkey wrench into it now. Seems to be working for you for the most part.
So the next one, they're just like something's different. It's like, yeah, I'm doing the
I don't
spreadsheet
know.
on the computer.
Ever since
Boo.
episode 239, it just doesn't feel the same. They lost the podcast magic is gone.
The magic is boo. It's gone. We can tell the way he's reading it, the way he's not fumbling as much
The way he
anymore.
doesn't have to keep reopening it. All right, what's up?
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 3.
Okay.
Yeah. It's it does have a lot of good elements in it. I just think that a lot of these songs are sounding similar.
Mhm.
So it's almost like I could listen to this one or I could listen to one of the other ones on side one.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of stuff to distinguish them. Plus the fact that I think that the vocals are kind of wearing thin on me. I think in the same way that Hughes's vocals on Play Me Out did is when they're too affected like that, and when you're doing too many vocal acrobatics, it just gets a little tiring.
Okay.
Because I mean, there's only so much that can go, before it's like, all right, this is like a lot. You like back down a little bit.
All right.
So I think it's that, and I think it's the vocal effects too.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, they're just getting a kind of monotonous.
All right. Okay. So I didn't rate it. 3.5.
No, you did not.
I like it. I mean, it's like, yeah, I think there's not a huge wide range of different kinds of styles on this album, but what they're putting forward, I'm really digging. It's definitely, it's a vibe. It's a mood.
I like it. It's a vibe.
It's giving 70s funk.
That'll pull in some of our Gen Z viewers.
Yeah, as we shoddily recreate these things that we have you ever seen it's like one of those videos that goes around. It's like, what if like a 1980s bully showed up to school now?
Yeah.
And
no, I haven't seen that.
And the guy's like, hey, give me your lunch money. And the kid's like, oh, it's giving broke boy. Oh, it's too funny. All right, so
Venmo me your lunch money.
yeah, exactly. Have Zelle. If you don't have Venmo, I'll take Zelle.
Did you rate it?
Track. What's that?
Did you rate it?
Yes, 3.5.
Oh, okay.
All right, next track up is Steal a Mile. It's almost like the same riff from the previous song, but it's like in a happy. Like it's a major version.
Ain't got high hopes. Ain't got style.
Man, it sounds so Hughesy.
Ain't got no place to rest a while. Take life so easy.
This one also features a sax solo by Chris
Nothing
Mercer
much to say.
and synth by Terry Rowley. Eventually.
Never look for trouble. Always walk away. Hold my hand in friendship.
Do we have bass yet? I can't hear it.
Yeah, it's in there. It's a little subdued.
Times are always
Oh, I can hear it now, yeah.
waiting round the bend. Feeling like
I feel like when the drums came in, it should have like really kicked in with some heavier bass.
trying to hide the pain. Keeping all the
This is the one that was co-written by Dave Holland.
coming back again. Still about that road. Still about that road.
Backing vocals: Kenny Cole, Misty Browning, and Terry Rowley.
Still about that road. Still about that road.
Upbeat little ditty.
Ain't got high hopes. Ain't got style.
Well, I like now how I was just talking about his vocals were heavily affected, and now he seems to be singing no effects.
Yeah.
To rest a while.
This seems to be like a very minimally effects driven song. Just very bare bones. Sounds good.
Never look for trouble. Always walk away.
The way they produce it so that it sounds like it's three women singing by somehow like it must be like lifting her voice in the mix. It sounds like pretty impressive. I would never guess that that's like two guys and Misty. Here comes Chris Mercer. Listen here if it's like the sax solo on is that the big sax solo on the what the hell can't I think of the song? If I hate you, it matters that you see. That song. Why is it so hard to think of another song when you're listening to a song?
Because you're listening to this song,
I know, it's just,
and you can't
frustrating.
separate it in your head.
But then it just like pops in your A damned for all time, thank you. All right. Must blend into the next song because that was an abrupt stop. Steal a mile. Stole a mile. Stolen a mile. How do you feel after stealing a mile, John? What's your...
I'll give it a 2.5. Middle of the road for me. Average song.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing I've heard in here that's bad.
No.
It's just just average. That's
all
it.
right. I will also give it a 2.5. Yeah, it's very like easy listening sort of track. Not necessarily like my favorite style, but it's a pretty little ditty, just not necessarily my top style. So
yeah.
The second track on the album, the penultimate track, is a tune called Going Home. This features solos by both guitar players and synth by Terry Rowley. He's trying to start the lawnmower. Again, kind of affected with that delay on the vocals. Flange on the drums there. This is a very... I don't know what this riff reminds me of, but it's like... It's just very familiar sounding.
I feel like... I don't know why I'm thinking of... I'm able to easily think of some of these, but it kind of reminds me of something that band Greta Van Fleet did.
Oh, there you go.
A few years ago, maybe on their first single or their first album. I think it's just that style of riff.
backwards guitar solo.
Okay, a little experimental here.
So this one says that Rob's solo is in the right channel and Mel's is in the left. Very trippy. Are you opening the spreadsheet on your computer now?
Why?
No, it just looked like you were. It looked like you were doing it.
I might be trying to mess with perfection. I'm curious. I'm gonna have to do this later.
I can tell you're looking up and you're like looking. You look like you just walked into a whole new world.
No, but I can't. I don't know how to open it.
Vocals, I think, are a little lost in the mix too. Partially from the effects, but partially they just seem a little low.
Yeah.
Scott's texting me all the songs he wants me to put on Spotify.
I love it.
I do have to get our stuff out because I'm always like telling people about it. I'm like, I don't know where the hell it is. Like, I just put it up there. Uh-huh. Oof, the UFO takes off. It's it was like they all boarded the UFO to go record Play Me Out in a few years. Space.
Oh, we haven't pulled that one out in a while. Space.
No, it's been a long time. Hundreds of episodes. Oof. All right. Going home. What do you think, John?
It's going home with a 2.5.
All right.
It's like yeah, it's another filler.
Yeah.
Just kind of plodding along a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think the songs are just the tempos are just too, they drag a little too much for my liking.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of all the songs are like long.
Yeah.
And by long, I mean they're all like I'm just scrolling through. I think the shortest song is
Like
4
5,
minutes
6
and
minutes,
45
right?
Oh no, 4 minutes ish.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of 5-minute songs and things that maybe don't like. I really liked what they did with Midnight Flyer, and that is actually the longest song on the album, but I feel like it went a lot of different places. But these maybe not so much. I'm gonna give it a 3. I dug it, but yeah, it's starting to get a little. I think putting this whole album on as a like I said, as a vibe in the background, it's the times I've listened to it is really good. But listening to it a little more critically, I can see kind of how some of it sounds a little more samey. But hey, we're up to the last track. It is a short. That being said, it's a short album overall. With only 8 tracks. So it almost seems like, yeah, some of them might have been just getting kind of filled out to space it up. But anyway, the final track is a song called Feel It Inside.
The subtly titled.
Sounds like a Whitesnake song. Nice.
Feel like this is right in your wheelhouse.
It is. John Ogden and congas again. Terry on electric piano and solos and slide guitar by Mel. It says tambourine, Dave Holland, and then it says, oh, it says everybody got to clap. So I guess everyone's clapping, doing the claps.
Can't you feel it inside? Let your body ride. Won't you feel it inside? Won't you feel it? Can't you feel it inside? Let your body ride. Won't you feel it inside? Won't you feel it? Life is meant for living and tools are to share. Each your road to travel, each cross to bear. I don't know the answers, but I found my way. So won't you listen? I've got something to say. Can't you feel it inside? Let your body ride. Won't you feel it inside? Won't you feel it? Can't you feel it inside? Let your body ride. Won't you feel it inside? Won't you feel it? Inside, but your thing's not funny.
Oh, I just realized this is a really long song. I was not paying attention to the time.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's 3 minutes. It's like, no, it's 8 minutes.
Almost 9.
Oy.
Well, explains why he's complimenting some solos on the liner notes here. It's weird that Terry Rowley like left the band, but then was like constantly guesting on the albums. Here we go. Funky synth solo. Or no, it sounds more like electric piano, like a Rhodes or something, with like a wah pedal on it, maybe. In the liner notes, he says, "Kung Funk Rowley for his solo on Feel It. You felt it." Kung Funk. Speaking of kung fu, did you see the guy that was talking about the crane kick?
No.
I'll have to send you that one. You'll appreciate it.
I'm sure I will. It being Karate Kid referenced.
Speaking of kung fu and karate. So clearly double tracking his solos.
I don't need no doctor, I don't need no cure. After years of searching what I'm looking for, I don't know the answers, but I found my way. So won't you listen? I've got something to say. Life is meant for living and troubles are to share. It's a road to travel, each a cross to bear. I don't know the answers, but I found my way. So won't you listen? I've got something to say. Can't you feel it inside? Let your body
I was trying to look up the lyrics for the song, and what came up was something from Reddit that says, "I find it hard to believe Dick would do trapeze."
Ah.
Click on that one. problem with Trapeze is they're such a kind of obscure band that you come up with a lot of search results that are actually about like the trapeze, the man flying trapeze. Fake ending here. Saying? Left my soul with rock and roll. Lyric sites are horrible. I can't find anything. Forget it. So I feel like my first impression, I guess not my first impression, but my overall impression is there's a lot of these like, they're really nice funky little breakdowns, but there's maybe too many of them on this album as a whole.
Yeah, I think
that's coming from me, who loves nothing more than a little funky breakdown.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that it kind of loses a little something when it's kind of in every song.
Yeah.
If you have like one or two, I know that the Way Back to the Bone, I keep re-referencing that, but that's one of the kind of best breakdowns on that album because you don't have 10 of them on there.
Yeah. Or like the breakdown on Getting Tighter, or the breakdown on, like, was it LA Cutoff that has that little funky sort of thing. Like, if you pepper those through the entire album, it gets a little bit, okay, we're doing this again, you know.
Well, because it stands out. Like you talked about Getting Tighter. That stands out so much because there's nothing else like that in the Deep Purple catalog, let alone on the album.
Yeah, even on the album, but yeah.
Because I remember the first time hearing that, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, exactly. It's just like
what is this?
Floors you, like, what's going on? And then they never do it again, and it's like kind of leaving them wanting more, sort of situation that makes that that part really work for me, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Bless My Soul, some rock and roll, Feel It Inside. What are you giving this one?
2.
A 2, really?
Yeah, I can't. I was just kind of tuned out for most of it.
Yeah.
I think it just kind of ends the album on a little bit of a thud here. I think just for all the reasons that we were saying is there's too much of the same throughout the whole album. Plus, I don't know. I feel like an 8-minute song belongs in the middle of the album unless you have something really epic to go out on.
Yeah.
So, and this was not it.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I'll give it a 2.5. I mean, I like what they're doing here, but yeah, I can see where it's kind of gotten to the point where it's just a little much. But anywho, that is Trapeze Hotwire, and as John fumbles with the spreadsheets, I will do something else, which is to thank our amazing patrons at the foundation level tier. So a big appreciation to all of them for contributing to the show and supporting us. At the $3.50 Deep Purple New York tier, we have none other than Lord Longford. At the £3 aromatic feed tier, Simon Ford and Richard Brees. At the $3.33 halfway to evil tier, Stephen Sharp and Duncan Leask. And at the $3 Nobody's Perfect tier, we have Peter Gardeau, Ian DeRosier, Mark Roback, Stuart McCord. Then we have the one, the only,
Flight of the Blue Light!
Ivan Fieldboo.
It's a great life if you know we can. It's a
Simonson,
It's a great life if you know we can. It's a
JJ Stannard, Ruinous Inadequacies, John Maselli,
Fishbone.
Michael Boyette, and Corey Morissette. At the $1.71 I Want My Own tier, we have
Rich, Yangui, Shalo.
at the 10 kroner tier, Karsten Lau. And then at the $1 made up name tier, we have the Feel It Inside the Tomb, Leaky Mausoleum, Stephen Somerville, the Concerto 1999 fanatic, Hank the Tank, Private Eyes, Ashen Lionel,
Blackmore tights.
Steve Down to Earth Kohler, Zwapper the Electric Alchemist, Enders Angstrom, and Ashley Still I Hear Burn Rose. Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. All right. Well, folks, it is that time. We've gotten there. You know what time it is. You know what we do at this point, and that is to bust out the spreadsheets.
We're just busting out the spreadsheet, and he's fumbling with the tabs. Oops, he sorted it the wrong way. Now he can't tell what is bad.
All right. John.
I don't know because it's not in. It's not under the albums.
Didn't this happen last time?
Yes.
Oh crap. Oh yeah, it is not in there. Well, you know what? Let's hey, I'm gonna play another busting out the spreadsheet and I'm gonna fix it.
A 2-for-1, folks.
Busting out the spreadsheet, and he's fumbling with the tabs.
No, I'm gonna do this one.
We're just busting out the spreadsheet, and he's fumbling with the tips. Oops, he sorted it the wrong way. Now he can't tell what is bad.
Okay. It gave me time to actually find that one.
Oh, okay.
All right. John, where does Trapeze Hotwire fall in the pantheon of album reviews?
6.13 rating.
Right.
So it's not so good. It's not so high. It's actually kind of down pretty low. Yeah, it's down pretty low. I mean, there are some bright spots on the album, but we actually had a little bit of a variance, which is not too surprising. And it's it's between Deep Purple New York by Various and Gillan's Magic.
There you go.
Which yep. Actually it's significantly below Deep Purple New York. But yeah, I think that it's there are a lot of good elements on this album, but I just think that without the original chemistry of what they had for those couple of albums with the trio and with Hughes, whatever they did right there was kind of a lightning in a bottle type of thing, just for the Medusa, You Were the Music. And then when he left, it was I think like what you were saying before, a little I don't know if you said it, but I think the sentiment was it's kind of meandering. When there were too many 5, 6 minute songs with funky breakdowns, it just kind of all mushes together in your head. You need a couple of kind of shorter, snappier songs, some up tempo, some down tempo. A ballad would have been nice in there. I mean, Mel Galley's got a great voice. Something like not another Coast to Coast, but something like that to kind of break it up. That's what the other albums had, was a lot more kind of diversity like that.
Maybe that's what it is. It's like, when you say a word, like, and you just keep saying it, it doesn't sound like a word anymore. It's kind of like when you put funk and funk and funk and funk, it doesn't sound funky anymore.
Yeah.
Like if you take it isolated, like that track, the track that we really liked, where the hell is it? What's the one we really liked? I can't find it here. The spreadsheet's messed up. Fumbling with the spreadsheet. Midnight Flyer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
seems
good
to work really well on that one. But yeah, maybe it's just, I mean, they're all good grooves, they're all good riffs, they're all, the songs are pretty good. There's nothing bad on the album, yeah, but it starts to get a little formulaic, a little repetitive.
Yeah, I think repetitive. Whereas when you hear, we were saying before, when you hear that funky breakdown, we've listened to albums before, we're like, oh
yeah, all of a sudden it's just like, yeah, it grabs your attention, but it doesn't grab your attention anymore in this one.
Yeah,
I think that they would have benefited from a producer who maybe would have reeled that in a little bit more.
It makes me think of it's maybe this would be better for a Whitesnake album, but I think the comparison, just because it's sexual, is no, there was a like a therapist guy that I follow on social media, and he does a lot of quick kind of relationship advice type of things. And there was a lot of these guys are really good at putting things into words, like you never know how to put your finger on it. And it's he was talking about cheating or getting tired with your partner, and it's just like, you have we all know what that the rush of that first time feels like. So why do you keep needing to chase it?
Yeah.
Like what's we all know what that feels like, the rush of meeting somebody new or doing something dangerous or whatever. And I feel like that's almost like a thing for, we all know what that cool funky breakdown is, and it's a nice surprise to hear it, but it's just like, when you keep doing it all the time, you keep chasing it on every track on the album, it just becomes like, all right, do I really need to do this?
Yeah, it's like you're chasing that high, and every time it gets a little lower.
Yeah, because you're just like, okay,
addicted to chasing that funk.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway, I don't know if that was a perfect analogy, but I think it's just kind of like,
I get it.
if you know what it is, it's just like, savor the funk.
So I just sent you a text message. So my buddies, a bunch of my friends went down to Kentucky this weekend, and they were like, you should come with us on this trip. And I was like, I can't. It's my birthday weekend. I got work, all that sort of stuff. So they yesterday on my birthday, they texted me all these pictures. So apparently they printed out a literal life-size picture of me on like cardboard, and they're taking me around with them everywhere.
I have to say that if you didn't tell me that this was a cardboard cutout, I would have thought that was you.
The one in the bar, pictures. Yeah, like the one outside, like you can tell because it's a little like light. But
yeah,
the one of me, like they have me behind the bar with the bartender. It looks like I'm legitimately there. If anything, they made me a little taller than I actually am, because the guy in the what picture is it? The guy in the first picture I sent you, he's a pretty tall guy. So I'm definitely, and then the guy to the right of him is my brother-in-law. And he's a pretty tall guy. I'm more the height of the guy all the way on the left. But I'm glad they're
wow, that's pretty that's dedication right there.
Yeah, it's kind of maybe and they're probably gonna bring back that cutout of me. If they do, I'll put it back there. That'll be the greatest gift of all.
Hey, that would be something good to put in the Diddy bag.
I'll have to fold it like 15 times. It'll be all ruined.
Special delivery, life size cutout of
we didn't
larger
talk about
than
that,
life size cutout of Nate.
Yeah, if you want to be our 100th review, our 100th 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Apple iTunes or whatever the hell it's called. You know what it is, where you get the podcasts. Yeah, you'll get a Deep Purple podcast goodie bag. So do it. We're getting closer and closer every time. So, all right, John. Well, it's early in the morning, but I'm gonna go walk the dog and take the kids out and get ready for lunch in a little bit. Oh my God, they're sending me more pictures. They're really going crazy.
Oh boy, really?
Cardboard Nate is having a hell of a weekend.
Well, regular Nate's in his basement talking to me about hot wire.
They're in Kentucky doing like a bourbon tour too. So real Nate is much less hungover than Cardboard Nate feels like you felt this morning. Oh boy. Well, with that, maybe I should take you out on some penny whistle. I do have a new.
I don't hear it again.
Oh, you can't hear it. That's right.
Yeah, you got to take the filter off.
Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Perfect. Okay. I mean, it's pretty.
That's a lot less funky than what we've been listening to.
Maybe I'll do a funky breakdown. All right, we're losing the plot here. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Appreciate it. I do have a surprise instrument back here too. It's not necessarily a percussion instrument, but yeah. I saw it and I was like, I've been wanting one of those, so I just bought it. Kind of like this mug I've been drinking out of, the Stan's Donuts mug.
Yeah.
See, it's got a hole in the middle where the donut is.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
So it's got like an actual hole. You can see through it.
Very nice.
See, I can see you. And I was like, every time I go to Stan's Donuts, I see this mug, and I'm like, that's a cool mug. And then I was there the other day. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, how many times do you go through life? I'm gonna buy this damn mug, so it's fantastic.
Yeah, why not?
How do you have a mug with a hole straight through it? So anyway, yeah, I bought this instrument, and I will debut it on the show when we get our 100th with a special track I got cooked up for our 100th review. So if that's not motivation to write our 100th review, I don't know what is.
Ooh.
All right, folks. Well, we'll see you next week with another exciting episode of the Deep Purple Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Deep Purple Podcast. If you like what you hear and would like more episodes in the future, please donate on Patreon to support the show. You can also leave us a review in Apple Podcasts to help new people discover the show. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for show updates. See deeppurplepodcast.com for more details. Thank you for listening.